The topic of aviation is such that the more you read about it and the more you understand it, the more intrigued you are with its intricacies. And one such topic for me as an geek are airline routes. Why do they exist at the first place? And the economics and the operations that make this particular route successful. However, airlines have never failed to be offbeat in this department. What if I tell you that once upon a time you could fly from London to New York, one of the most popular international flights currently operating on board Air India, or even Shanghai to San Francisco on board Jet Airways? It sounds like rocket science, right? But in reality, it isn't, and these are actual routes that airlines did fly from once upon a time. But wait, Air India and Jet Airways are Indian airlines, so how did they fly between two countries? Well, to answer your question, sit back as I, Avgeek Parikh, take a deep dive into some Fifth Freedom flights operated by Indian Airlines. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome or welcome back to Avgeek Parikh. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and share this video. And if you enjoy such aviation content, don't forget to subscribe my channel. I also have a profile on Instagram. The handle is right down in the description. Thank you for tuning in. Before we proceed any further, we need to look into and understand what exactly are these Fifth Freedom flights. In the aviation world, there are 9 freedoms of flying in total, which are a set of rules and regulations for an airline flying between two different countries. The fifth one in particular is the rather interesting one, as it allows an airline to operate between two different countries as a stopover and to carry passengers as long as the flight is originating in the home country. Let's try to understand it with an example. So, for example, if an Indian airline is flying between Delhi and Toronto via London, stopping over in London and carrying passenger onwards to Toronto, that particular sector is considered a Fifth Freedom sector, as the sector is operated out of India and the Indian airline is able to carry passengers between the United Kingdom and Canada. Some popular Fifth Freedom sectors currently operating today are Emirates' Milan to New York flights and Singapore Airlines' Tokyo to Los Angeles flights, which they have been operating for the last several years. Indian Airlines were no stranger on flying Fifth Freedom sectors, especially at a time when aircraft did not have the range as they do now. Take Air India for example, who operated numerous different Fifth Freedom flights at its heyday. Upon a time, Air India used to fly on probably one of the most lucrative long-haul sectors in the world. I'm talking about the London Heathrow to New York JFK sector, which the airline operated for almost 30 to 35 years, spanning from the 707 era to the 777 era. The airline was a popular choice among the budget-conscious traveler. However, the airline did not just stop over here. The airline also operated Fifth Freedom flights between Paris and Newark, with Newark being the only sector in the Air India network to be operated via Paris. Eventually, the stop was changed to London and eventually to Frankfurt. Air India also operated Fifth Freedom flights to Chicago, stopping at either London or Frankfurt. Once, I did make a reel about Air India operating a scissor hub in Frankfurt, but way before that, Air India used to operate one of the most interesting Fifth Freedom flights onwards from Frankfurt. I'm talking about Air India's flights to Los Angeles, which it operated in the mid 2000s via Frankfurt. This once was probably one of the longest sectors Air India served, and it was served with Fifth Freedom rights between Frankfurt and Los Angeles. Canada also saw some interesting Fifth Freedom sectors from Air India, as the airline flew from Toronto to onwards to Frankfurt and London, and at one point even Birmingham. Air India flew this sector via Amritsar and Delhi to cater to the massive Punjabi community. Similarly, in 2016, Air India resumed its London to New York sector. Instead of JFK, however, the airline flew to Newark EWR and originated the flight out of Ahmedabad instead of Delhi or Mumbai in order to cater to the large Gujarati community. The airline did not stop at North American Fifth Freedom flights, however. Air India also operated numerous Fifth Freedom flights to East Asia, with Hong Kong once being a big hub for the airline, operating flights onwards to Tokyo, Osaka, and Seoul in South Korea. The airline also operated flights from Bangkok to Tokyo. Indeed, Air India has certainly had a kitty of some interesting Fifth Freedom flights that we wouldn't have known otherwise. Certainly not to be forgotten in this Fifth Freedom race was Jet Airways, India's once largest carrier. Jet Airways once operated numerous different Fifth Freedom flights as well. At one point, Jet Airways had a sizable scissor hub in Brussels through which it operated flights between India and North America. If you want to know more about the Brussels hub in detail, check out my video about India's most unique routes. Similarly, Jet Airways used to also operate flights between Mumbai and San Francisco via Shanghai with full Fifth Freedom rights between Shanghai and San Francisco. Later on, these routes were shut down because of financial constraints. Later, Jet Airways shifted its hub from Brussels to Amsterdam, operating only one Fifth Freedom sector between Amsterdam and Toronto. The only Jet Airways Asian Fifth Freedom flight that I could find was between Bangkok and Ho Chi Minh City. They were not as much as Air India, but they sure were a bunch of interesting Fifth Freedom routes, especially onwards to North America. Question that you may be asking yourself right now is why these Fifth Freedom sectors, once extremely popular, are slowly fading into obscurity. Now, the main reason why is the arrival of modern aircraft, which eliminates the need to have a stopover on longer flights for the airline, which is a far more economically viable option. Secondly, there are government regulations in certain countries which disallows airlines to fly Fifth Freedom flights. Now, do I see an Indian airline fly a Fifth Freedom flight in the future? Well, my answer would be no, as India shifts to become a major connecting hub and airlines preferring to fly more non-stop to more destinations. Now that's it from my side. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you liked this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel, and let me know down in the comments if I've missed any Fifth Freedom sectors and if you want a part 2 talking about foreign airlines operating Fifth Freedom flights to India. Till then, that's it from me, Avgeek Parikh, as I decode the skies one story at a time. Peace.